Dear Dr. Finkheuer, dear ladies and gentlemen, I want to give you some good news right at the beginning of my speech. On the 23rd of October 2020, under the German presidency, the Environment Council discussed the EU Biodiversity Strategy 2030. The following passage appears in the Council conclusions. I'm quoting an excerpt here. The Council of the European Union supports the Commission in stepping up efforts to better protect soils and soil biodiversity as a non-renewable resource of vital importance, as well as to reduce soil sealing. It reiterates the will to make progress towards the objective of zero net land take by 2050. I think this makes it abundantly clear how timely and relevant it is that you have chosen land take as the focus of your European online conference. The passage I read out, which Germany fully supported, can put momentum behind your discussion today. It shows how seriously the essential issues of sustainable land use are being discussed at the highest European level. For Germany, a densely populated and highly industrialized country, curbing the daily increase in land and used for human settlement and transport is of paramount environmental importance. As you just heard, soil and land are very closely connected. They must be addressed together, especially when the aim is conserving biodiversity. The need for urgent action is in the title of the Council conclusions and underscores the great pressure to act in this area. This is why I am so pleased to welcome you today to this conference, wherever in Europe you happen to be logging in from. I would much prefer to have addressed you all in a large meeting room in Brussels, where you have been able to talk with one another in person. But the organizers of the event and I can take comfort in the fact that perhaps a few more colleagues are able to participate since no traveling is required. Postponed is not the same as cancelled. An in-person event is planned in Brussels for spring 2021, if the pandemic situation allows. I'm particularly pleased to welcome Dr. Rita Finkheuer here today. Since September, Ms. Finkheuer has been the new General Director of Environment in the Commission and responsible for biodiversity, soil and land. Ms. Finkheuer, I wish you all the best and great success in your new role. I would also like to remind you all that it was the European Commission that first took a strategic look into the future in its roadmap to a resource-efficient Europe in 2011. Germany has embraced this vision and in 2016 built its Climate Action Plan 2050 with zero net land take as an aim. Climate action is the order of the day. To mitigate climate change, we would treat land and soil with care as they also sequester large amounts of carbon dioxide. Our experience shows that the path ahead is long and rocky. When Germany started its national sustainability strategy in 2021, the aim was to reduce the daily amount of new settlement and transport land from its former level of around 120 hectares per day to an average of 30 hectares by 2020. Currently, we are at just under 60 hectares per day. We know that we will fall well short of our target at the end of the year. We also know that our settlement and building activities in 2030 have to be limited to just 20 hectares per day if we take our zero net land take vision for 2050 seriously. We must considerably step up our national efforts, which will be a tremendous challenge. In Germany, the issue of reducing land take is especially sensitive in the context of increasing demand for housing. Preventing further urban sprawl and prioritizing development in city centers in urban planning are of key importance to us environmental policy. Nonetheless, these issues are the subject of highly controversial political debates. In 2011, the Commission called for a broadening of the scientific basis in the European debate on land take. A German Environment Ministry answered the call. The technical inputs today come from the Surface Research Project. joint effort of the German Environment Agency and the Leipzig Center for Environmental Research that has been underway since 2017. As was reported to me, the first step was to get an overview of the relevant activities in the European member states. There was a strong focus on language challenges. A lot of work was dedicated to translation, and this will also be necessary in future. In German, terms like Fläche, Boden, Versiegelung, Brachen, and their deeper meaning are apparently not easy to translate into other European languages. We will hear more about this in the presentations. From the German side, land take is mainly about how far humans and our settlement practices encroach upon natural open space with its meadows, forests, farmland and fields. It is not just about soil sealing, as some people think. In Europe, especially when discussing this topic, we must always make certain of what is said and what is meant so that our messages are not lost to each other. We must take similar care when compiling statistics and designing calculations, which are indispensable and extremely important in this context. These issues and more will be the subject of today's event. My thanks go to our speakers this morning for their participation. In particular, I would like to thank the project scientists who prepared today's virtual meeting. I hope the conference is very successful and wish you all productive conversations. Thank you for your attention.